Recording in progress.
So we're going to move on from the last two trainings. So as always, I know I always recap this at the start of each training, but they do all follow on from each other. And this is going to be the last one in this little circuit or group. So if you didn't go back on the last one when we talked again about love, self-love, conditional love, unconditional love, and everything in between, do go back and watch Friday's training, because this will build onto it. And we talked about very much the need for self-love and how important it is, and working on that thing that when you can develop it to a level, you don't need it from anyone else, and then you don't make those kind of crazy decisions, really. So today is the final. So we've been through these needs time and time again and done them to an advanced level. So our first human need, which bases every single behavior that we do, is our need for certainty or uncertainty. So everything from or variety. And then we went on to talking about the need for love and connection, which are the second needs as well. And today we're going to talk about the need for significance, which is something I have a PhD in, and kind of all the lessons that I've learned and are going through now have kind of come from, really. And I really hope that people will learn from my lessons, because it'll save you a lot of heartache and it'll save you a lot of money as well. So kind of the need for significance is the danger of doing things for the wrong reasons, which is why people often fail at certain things. Like if you're trying to lose weight because you think your husband doesn't find you attractive anymore, or he's told you that you need to lose weight, or you're looking at other people and they're making you feel a certain way, then it's coming from the wrong position to even start with. If you're looking to start a business because you're willing to do this business that you hate because you need to make the money, because when you make the money you'll feel like you're good enough, then again that will be why you fail. And I've been really open about my journeys with the houses and the Range Rovers and getting naked and everything in between, and then realizing shit, actually I'm doing this all for the wrong reasons. I'm doing it because deep down I believed that people would love me more if I had a big house. People would love me more if I had a Range Rover. People would love me more if I had a big bank balance and all those things in between, if I had a great body. And when you go through that journey to realize it's because you're feeling unloved that you're doing those things to get love. And the reality is, if you're trying to get love from someone that is willing to love you because you have a Range Rover, a massive house, a big bank balance and a banging body, then you're attracting exactly the wrong type of love, because it's conditional. The right person would love you if you drove God, I'm going to try and not fucking upset anyone who's some form of really bad car. I don't say a car brand in case someone's got one. Lived on the streets in a bit and everything. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to end up stitching myself up. But the right person would love you irrelevant of how you look, who you are, and the things you have. That is what's called unconditional love. I love you no matter what, not I love you if. So, as I said, it's fair to say I pretty much have a PhD in this. And again, if you do as well, don't beat yourself up. If you're doing things for attention, love, and significance, don't beat yourself up about it, because it's normal. And it will very often be down to what happened in your childhood. Again, I've talked about the story so many times when Nikki actually handed my ass to me when I was talking about Logan and his ADHD and his autism. And if you've ever seen a child with autism, when they really lose it, it's scary, right? To a level where I've had to kind of hold him and hug him in the shower because he was punching him, going dead crazy just because he couldn't have a razor blade. You couldn't have a razor blade, something that was going to kill himself. But the other end of that is when I was discussing some of the tantrums and the level to which I struggled to handle it at points, because it's not a normal childhood tantrum. It's crazy, right? To the level where you're having to protect them, and they could harm themselves, and it could go on for up to 45 minutes, all because we didn't put the teddy back in the right place, or we didn't go down the stairs the right way, or we didn't put the curtain tie back, because the patterns that were interrupted. So you have to imagine there's my patterns and his patterns, and neither of us like our patterns being interrupted. So, we've had to do a lot of work on it together. But the point of what I'm saying is, like Nikki analysed very quickly, like when are these things happening? When are these tantrums happening? When it's happening? And a lot of the times was when I wasn't giving him love and attention, which was making him misbehave. And then she went back to, what was it that you never got as a child, Lee? And I'm like, shit, love, attention, significance, all of these things. So I craved it. So the point I'm making is, the way you behave now in order to do and get certain things might literally have been because of something that you didn't get between the ages of 3 and 7 years old. So don't beat yourself up about it. But, it's something I've had to massively work on, because you don't have self-love as a child. I didn't have love. I didn't really have self-worth. And I'm still working on it now. So this will then relate into this human behavior of why we do the things that we don't do. And it was, that's right built into when, again, to cut the long story short, again, when I was kidnapped, so to speak, and then I went into this family unit where it was a mother and father who had a son together, and it was Lee the cast-off, who was just the son of the father, and he was, cast to one side and pushed away. And then that developed that feeling, well, he's their son, I'm his son, I'm lesser than everyone else in this family. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. If I was good enough, why would they be treating me this way? Literally from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So, and from that young age moving on, then I found the only way to achieve this self-love. Well, I could, moving forward, some pretty destructive things. I could achieve it by, being strong and knocking people out. I could achieve it by taking ease and being centre of attention on the dance floor. I could achieve it by playing rugby to a high level and scoring tries. In fact, anything to desperately get this love, this attention, this significance, this thing that I've not had, and then building into this level of buying things to prove myself, making money to prove myself, getting lean to prove myself, competing at bodybuilding to prove myself. And it always ends up back at, empty. It doesn't work out. It's not a good thing at the end. I don't end up feeling happy as a result of what I've done. So what we are going to move on to is how it can be a good thing if you learn how to channel it. So all of these things, just like the significance and insignificance, the certainty and uncertainty, they're all kind of on a spectrum. So when people say, oh, you're bipolar, I'm like, everyone's bipolar. Oh, you're autistic, everyone's autistic. Oh, you've got ADHD, everyone's got ADHD in some format, okay? It's just where you sit on the spectrum. So some people are very, very high level bipolar is either you're a 1 or a 10, lower level would be you're a 7 or a 6. Do you know what I mean? We're all on these spectrums in some format. So if it's a good thing, it can be channeled from the right place, especially if you can use it to serve other people, which is what we're going to come on to. And this is what will kind of really, really, really open things up for you. So let's go back into, so again, if we look at what did it give me? It gave me identity. I was the professional rugby player. I was the club owner. I was the promoter. I was the DJ. I was the bodybuilder. I had the money. I produced music. I've been on TV. All of those things, right? Short-term, temporary fix, feel good, everybody loves me, I'm center of attention. And again, it's like, even me and Jason discussed this after the 101 mile run. I'm like, this is like insane. Like 1 minute, I'm on 4 different TV channels. I've got hundreds of people around me. We're all celebrating. Jan's jump starting someone's car at Rother Valley. We're all sat round having food. It's been the best experience ever. And then like, fuck, sorry, someone's kid's there. 12 hours later, I'm in this big house on my own, sat there in a bed with Frankie, thinking, what is life? No one's calling me, no one's texting me, I don't feel good anymore. Earlier I was a 10, now I'm a 1. What's going on? And it's you have to kind of get a handle around it. And there's parts of doing it for the right reason, of part for doing it for the wrong reason. But if you look at all those identities, like it was never just, I was never just happy being Lee. I had to be Lee the rugby player, I had to be Lee the bodybuilder, I had to be Lee the doorman, I had to be Lee the club owner. And if I do this, people will love me. If I'm the toughest, people will love me. If I'm the richest, people will love me. So we're back into this unconditional thing of, it's a dark place to be. And, if you feel this way in any area of your life, it might be related to fat loss, business, anything whatsoever, it's all driven by an inner fear from your childhood of all of our biggest fear, which is that I'm not enough. It might be you felt that your husband didn't love you or wasn't giving you attention, or your wife, or your kids, or your family, or your boss, your employee, your business, because of your body, anything at all. But it's all driven by this fear of not being good enough. And it's a hamster wheel that will go round and round and round and round unless you change it. And it very much relates to fitness and fat loss as well. So it's a great motivator to get started, and it can be, but everything that goes with it eventually is a price that's not worth paying, trust me, because you will never fill that void trying to be someone that you're not to get the love and attention that you want. So significance can be great, but not when it's driven by a fear of not being good enough. Does that make sense? It's what it's driven by which makes the difference. If I'm like, right, I want to run 200 miles because it's going to raise loads of money for charity, it's going to inspire millions of people that they can do this too, it's going to do all these great things that are going to impact and contribute to the world, and it's going to make me feel significant, which is going to make me feel good. That's okay. If it's driven by, I need to do this to prove to everyone that I'm good enough, that I'm big enough, that I'm strong enough, because deep down I feel that I'm not, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. This is very often why people quit. This is why they quit the fitness plan. This is why they quit the business. So the positive and negative versions of this are pretty much in all examples of leaders in life. So there's a significance that comes from ego, and then there's a significance that comes from impacting and inspiring. And when it's the latter one, it just flows easily back to you. And this will hopefully make really sense, because then that need for significance doesn't become significance anymore. It doesn't become ego. It moves from egocentric to what's called ethnocentric. So not about you, it's about other people. So yes, I'm building significance, but I'm doing it in a way where I'm growing and contributing, which is helping each others. So this is how it becomes so different. And this is what, like, I spoke to Peter for about 10 minutes when we did the event at Everton's football ground. And I said that same thing to him. He's done the Marathon des Sables, he's done a lot of stuff. He's been a multi-millionaire fucking 5 times over, lost it all, gone to prison, which is a story in itself, because that's the mindset of a rich person. It was never really about the money, and he still kept the same mindset even when that happened. But like I said to him, I'm like, I can't scratch this itch. And he's like, what do you mean? Where is it? No, he didn't. But I went, whatever I do never like hits the spot. Like, it doesn't matter what car it is. It doesn't matter fucking what model I'm dating. It doesn't matter what house I have. It doesn't matter who I knock out. All these things that I've done, how many miles I run, everything. It never like, it's such a temporary like, great, wicked, yeah, feel good, brilliant. Now back to like, what next? And this is what happens to me. This is why I burn out. This is why I get exhausted. And I remember saying to him, like Like, how do I fix this problem? How do I move forward? Because I can't just keep doing this for the rest of my life. And he said, you have a massive need for significance. And I said, yeah, it's pretty obvious. And he went, do you know the best way to feel great significance and to get significance effortlessly every single day? I said, no. And he went, make other people feel significant. He said, instead of running round, this was his exact words, he said, instead of running round with this empty jar saying, he must have known me well, saying, please somebody put some cookies in my jar, put some cookies in my jar, I need all these cookies in my jar, and when my jar's full of cookies, I'm going to feel amazing. He went, imagine if you just went round putting cookies in everyone else's jar all day long. Imagine if you had that many cookies in your own jar already, because you already know you're good enough, because you won a 400,000,001 sperm race to even be born into this world, and you are good enough, Lee. You always have been good enough. You've been good enough since the day you were fucking born. Just situation and circumstances have led you to believe otherwise. So let's get your cookie jar full first, and let's get it so full that we can then just keep giving it. You can just keep giving cookies to everyone else. And that's when it switches from, Lindsay, you're always fucking hungry. It takes it from this internal ego-driven significance to I'm going to make myself feel significant by growing and contributing. So again, that's one of my affirmations every day. Who can I help today? Who can I help to grow? So it moves from egocentric significance to ethnocentric significance, even though I've slightly pronounced that wrong, I think. So you're growing your own significance by caring from others and wanting to bring the best out of them. And again, this goes back into, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, lots of the strategies in that book, he became a multimillionaire by making multimillionaires. He wasn't focused on becoming a multimillionaire. He was focused on how many people he could help get what they want, and then he got what he want. Cookies are not bad. That's a lie. That's a lie the world might have led you to believe. So it's hard to get your head round, but when you can get significance through giving love, not needing it in return, or trying to use significance to get love, that's the game changer. I'm going to say that again really carefully. I would pause this. If you're on replay, I'll go back and remember it and write it down. Significance through giving love, not needing it in return, or using significance to get it, is the key to truly getting this handled. So I can make myself feel significant purely by growing and contributing. You guys will see, you've seen changes in this. Like, what would again, let's look at the 3 Peaks challenge, right? Old Lee would have just wanted to win. Been at the front, employed someone else to pull up the back, and wanted it to be all about me on social media. I did it in fucking 8 hours. I did it in this time. Look how great I am. I was the first man home. All this kind of thing. That's when it's like you're just making it all about you. And I've said this story so many times. It was the question that I got asked so many times. How on earth did you run 10 marathons in 30 days in a 16 kilogram weighted vest? And I actually remember going, God, I've got no idea. Because none of that was about me. Okay, it was all about contributing and helping the world. And also, this is when we then go into anger, resentment, and frustration. Do you know how many people give love for the only reason that they want it in return? This is the needy men and this is the needy women that meet a new partner, and when you're on the other end of it, it's like the scariest thing in the world, isn't it? Within 4 days, they're like buying you stuff. I love you. I've never felt this connection. Oh my God, you're amazing. Let's get married. Let's move in. Oh, fucking hell, love. Calm down. Jesus wept. I haven't been on a weekend away together yet, but they're desperately giving love because they want it in return. People do this to a level where I'm not going to say who it is, but someone who I know, started dating a girl that I know, and he was like, he was that person, right? And I think he started dating her in like the middle of January. It got to Valentine's. He bought her some tickets from Miami. He bought her a MacBook, did all this stuff. She literally went, fuck you, you're dumped. Like, I don't want your MacBook. I don't want your holiday to, I don't want any of these things. We've been on 2 dates, you idiot. Like, Jesus Christ. But yet that's that same thing. He'd been thinking, God, if I give her stuff, if I buy her stuff, if I do all this, if I give all this love for the wrong reasons, then she will love me. Well, she'd love him irrelevant if he was the right person. So we need to be cautious of not giving love and not giving significance, not giving anything, okay? Because we expect it in return. Someone's just put their mic on. Lindsay, give him my number. Oh, he's caught. No, he's not. He's not. Someone's Stephen. I think Stephen, you've got 2 things on, 2 cameras. One of them's got a mic on, I think. Thank you. No, someone's got a mic on. There we go. So it's giving for the wrong reason, right? It's back to the buying a drink because you expect someone to buy you a drink back, and then being frustrated when they don't. Fucking toss for him, he never gets his round. Well, you bought him a drink for the wrong reason. Okay, if we only give because we have an expectation of it being returned, then we're always going to get burned, because all anger, resentment and frustration comes from unmet expectations. So the quickest way to not get burned, not feel angry, not feel resentment, not feel frustrated, is to not expect anything in return. You know, I don't love you guys and expect you to love me in return. I'm indifferent to it. It makes no odds to me. It took me a long time to get to that place, because very often people will be like, and this moves into business, you know, oh, I'll do, how, and ask you, this is a question where people always fail, and I've coached a lot of people in business on this when they're doing sales calls. They have such an expectation of that sales call converting, and they're happy if it does, and they're sad if it doesn't, and it shapes their entire day. I've worked with a load of sports people on this, whereas, you know, they're happy if they win, they're sad if they lose. The best sports people in the world, they just love playing rugby. They just love playing rugby. They're not, they would play rugby for free. They don't have any expectation. They'd like to win, but they're just enjoying the journey. So, you know, again, be cautious of when we're giving things significance and love and attention and all these things, that we're just giving it for the right reasons, not because we're expecting something in return. Because then when you don't get it, that's when you'll get angry, resentful and frustrated. And I reckon the guy who bought the Mac, the flowers, the holiday, was pretty angry, resentful and frustrated when he got dumped in return. That happened because he did it for the wrong reasons. So listen to this. And again, this is the emotional change that I think I've gone through. And if you're again that same person, and you guys know this, I say this all the time, I always feel like I'm talking about myself all the time, but you know, my journey is the only story that I have to tell these stories through. And I think if there's not a real world story attached to it, then it just becomes a bit of another mindset book. So think of 2 different leaders, right? Right, I'm your leader, team. I'm the boss. Do what I say, not what I do. I know everything. Do not challenge me under any circumstances, you fucking minions. You know nothing about nutrition. You know nothing about training. You know nothing about mindset. Me, I am a fucking guru. I've got a master's. I know it all. So just do what I say. Shut up. Don't question me. Get the work done. And if you fail, you're a pussy. Leaders. There's leaders in the world. There's leaders. Think of Hitler. Jesus. But then there can also be another type of leader. I am only here to assist you in surpassing everything that I have achieved. I don't know it all, but I learn every day and I try my best. And I am here to help you grow into being a better, bigger version of yourself. And I hope and truly believe that you surpass everything I have ever achieved. Same leader, different mindset. Leadership is not about the leader. It's about their ability to serve other people. The best leader on a rugby field often isn't the best player. It's his ability to get the best out of his team, because he understands that without his team he can achieve nothing. The best doorman often isn't the toughest doorman. It's the guy who knows to manage his team correctly to keep everyone safe and get everyone to work as a team. The best coach is the coach who gets the best results out of his clients, not the coach who has the best body. This is where you see all the young coaches going wrong. All they do is endlessly post pictures of their boobs, their bums and their back fannies on their Instagrams, or they post lads posting pictures of their abs every single day. Me. And then they're like, oh my God, why is like Jane in her 40s and Lee in his 40s, and why have they got so many more clients than me? Because people don't give a fuck about you or your physique. All people care about is that you can help them. Can this person help me get what I want? Not this person thinks he's better than everyone else because he has a great body. Again, why do I know about all that? Because I've done it myself. So, when we can get to that point where bad leaders believe that other people exist only to serve them. Great leaders understand that they exist to serve other people, and that if I help enough people get what they want, the universe will give me what we want. So we normally get hit by this ego thing, this desperation thing. And yes, I did used to post semi-naked selfies every single day on my Instagram. So we get hit by this ego thing when we don't feel like we're good enough, when we don't feel loved, when we don't feel happy. What can I do to get it? What can I do to get more attention? How can I get love? How can I get significance? But, when we can find the way to feel love, significance, and everything in between by making other people feel that way, like Peter said, that is greatness. How can I get significance by making other people feel more significance than me? How can I get significance by being in the background and just seeing everybody else win and achieve? That's greatness. How can I get significance by making other people feel bigger than me, whereas many people try to get significance by making everyone feel smaller than them? We've all been that person, right? When we're on the opposite end of, someone's trying to belittle you, someone's trying to make you feel smaller. This is what happens on my Instagram 20 times a day. When people are literally slating me for everything from my mindset stuff to my body to everything in between. Because they are trying to get significance by making me feel bad, by pulling me down. Okay, that's when you're not in a good place. When you can get significance by pulling other people up, that's greatness. So that leads us back to growth and contribution, which is the key to true, lasting love and fulfillment and happiness in all areas. Forget certainty and uncertainty, although we need to be aware of them. Forget love and connection, although we need to be aware of them. And forget significance, although we do still need to be aware of them. The last two keys, as we've discussed, growth and contribution, is the key to fulfillment and happiness in all areas of life. So this will lead to an inner joy about life where you're continually just happy in the moment. You don't need to do the things to get the love. You're just happy doing what you're doing. And it can't be achieved this from a selfish, ego-driven perspective. It's about helping other people grow. It's about putting smiles on the faces of how many other people. Not, oh, I'm so unhappy, I'm so down, I'm so depressed. Oh God, I feel like this and this person that, and it's my parents' fault and it's my husband's fault and it's everybody else's fault that I feel this way. And different, versus how can I put a smile on other people's faces today? Who can I help today? A client that one of my clients I worked with, who was very, very, very borderline suicidal, all she ever fucking talked about was herself. I feel this way because this happened. My feelings this. My parents this. Blaming everyone. And it would change your moment for like, God, have you ever like thought about how other people are feeling? About how you could help them feel happier? Maybe if you just tried for a few days to take the focus off of you onto other people, you might start to see the world from a different angle. She went, oh God, I've never thought about it like that. Like, no, you haven't, because all you do is talk about you. So, you know, when we wake up from a mindset about it's about giving smiles, it's about giving love, it's about giving positivity, it's about helping people, you know, but without ever expecting anything in return. That is what's called growth and contribution. And you know, the whole purpose of all these kind of trainings and stuff, and what I want you to take out from them, whether you apply it to nutrition, training, your career, or everything in between, is to really understand our own behavior and why we do the things we do at a deeper level, and what's going on, so that we can grow and contribute more. Because we need to understand what's going first before we figure out, how can I grow and contribute more by giving to other people, by filling their cookie jar up? Because when you are just constantly giving and growing and helping and contributing, the universe will give you what you want by default. When you just keep focusing on what you want, why you deserve it, why you're not getting it, whose fault it is, and everything in between, you will just keep attracting all those feelings and those situations and those circumstances back to you. But when we switch it to this other way, it will be effortless. So rather than thinking, how do I dominate and control, how do I serve from a heart that is full? So here is a real world example that I wrote down. Okay? I haven't actually done this, but when I see people do it, I'm like, oh God, that's a bit cringe. Who's seen someone who's bought a homeless person a sandwich and then gone straight onto their Facebook and gone, I was walking down West Street in Sheffield today and I saw this poor homeless person. So what I did was I crossed over the road and I went into the shop and I bought them a coffee and I bought them a fucking sandwich, and then I got someone to take a photo of me doing it. Wrong fucking reasons, right? Wrong reasons, big style. They've done that for their ego. They've done it to get love. They've done it to get attention. Otherwise, you just do it, right? And again, I haven't done that, but I've done things similar to that. Do you know, I wish I could do this, but I still don't think I've progressed enough to a journey where I could do it. And when I think I can do it, it will be a life-changing moment, and I'm not far away from it. 2 people sponsored me £500 for the 100-mile run. I have no idea who they are. How cool is that? I've never sponsored anyone and not put my name on there, because I want them to know, probably because I want them to give me a little bit of love and respect and gratitude in advance. Doing that is next level. Whoever those 2 people are, they are next level growing and contributing to the world. They've sponsored £500, and to the day I die, I will never know who those people were. That is world class. Okay? So, you know, people will do the right thing when people are watching. This has been tested, by the way. This, Carl Apps, you're welcome. This has been tested, right? Filmed and tested. Do you know how many people, when people are watching, if there's some litter on the floor, they will pick the litter up. If no one's watching, they just walk straight past it. It's the same thing, okay? They get a payoff from it. Same thing, but different payoff. Again, like I said, a business example. People, the amount of coaches that I've worked with, Wally, I get what you're saying about this social media stuff and sending emails, but I've done a post every day this week and I've still not got any clients, so it mustn't work. Well, do a post, not begging for clients, begging of scarcity. Just try and maybe do 7 posts next week that help people. Try and maybe give people a little value before they try and get them to buy from you. So, this is where people get to. I will only do X if I get Y. So, if we can get to this point where we have a strong desire to do the right thing when nobody's watching, that's when it goes to a next level. And we have to understand on this, we are either growing and contributing or we're dying. That's it. It's the same in nature. You either keep growing and contributing and adding to the food chain, or you get taken out, or you die. Sounds pretty brutal, but it's true. And often, the people who feel worthless, the people who are in their own heads, the people that are always talking about how they feel and how life's bad and how everything's wrong for them and negative, they feel worthless because they are not contributing. That girl who I said all that stuff, she was contributing the square root of fuck all to the world. She wasn't helping anyone. She wasn't contributing in any way, just locked inside her own head about her problems, her life, whose fault it was, how unfair it was, and everything in between. And guess what? Your outer world will always follow your inner world. That's what I'm going to be coming on to throughout the rest of this week. So often people are so focused on their own first 4 needs: significance, love, connection, certainty, uncertainty, that growth just disappears and they will slowly die because they've got no dreams, they've got no goals, they've got no aspirations. They're just locked in their inner world of their head. So, very often as well, life will give us a reminder that life is about growth and contribution, and that we need to grow to survive. Look at nature. What happens if a tree doesn't grow? It fucking dies. What happens if animals don't eat? They die. So survival is key. And not only will the universe give us a clue that, you're facing this challenge, it's a direct sign that you need to change. You need to start growing. You need to start contributing, or you're going to go backwards. And what's the only way we grow? We only grow through the one thing that most people spend their whole life avoiding: challenge. So if you're facing challenge right now, good. If you're going through tough times, good. Because the universe is giving you one of them that you need to start contributing more. You need to start growing more. If you want to survive, you need to start giving more. You need to start focus on what you want and how you need to get it, not what you don't have and why it isn't fair. Think about it. There's so many real world examples, right? If you want big guns that aren't that big anymore, you go to the gym. You don't go to the gym and just look at the fucking weights. Well, half the guys in warehouse do when they're not texting, that is. But we don't just go to the gym and, maybe I'll go to the gym and I'll look at these weights, and if I just keep looking at them long enough, maybe I'll grow some muscles. This is why Dan Meredith says a fucking finger up to the law of attraction and a thumbs up to action. We can't just look at what we want and manifest. Manifestation is good when done properly in certain ways. If you think you're going to sit there and manifest your perfect weight or your perfect life without ever taking any action, good luck. I'll see you when you're dead. But if you want to grow, not only can we not do it just by looking at the weights, that we can't keep lifting a weight that we can already lift. We need to keep lifting more weights. We need to start growing and contributing more sessions, more reps, heavier weights. And life is the same. And this is why very often the people who, this challenge, the people who love the most are the people that were hurt the most. They just didn't know the gift they were being given when they were being hurt. The people who succeed the most are the people that have suffered the biggest setbacks. David Goggins is a world-class example. You know, adversity will break some people, but for people who have developed the right mindset, it will break records. It will break you or it will break records. It all comes down to how you look at it. Look at Ian Lambert, smashing it. But he almost broke him. By his own words, I was a fat, boozed up builder going absolutely nowhere. Now he's a world triathlon record holder with multiple businesses and winning in every area of life. But it all came from the challenge, the adversity. So if we want to grow and not not die, we must understand to embrace these challenges and go through them. And another great example before I wrap this up is, you know, think of the river of life as a metaphor. Rapids, rocks, shallow areas, deep areas, difficult to navigate when it's raining, difficult to navigate when it's rushing through, easy to navigate when we get to the mill pond. And life is very much like that. Sometimes we have the good times, we have the mill pond, we have the sunshine, the bit when you can just, you know, sit there in your canoe and swim and everything's just great and everything around smiley. But, you know, the real magic is at the end of the river. And if we want to get to the end of the river, then we're going to have to go through the rapids and the rocky areas and the tough times. They're impossible to avoid. And those are the challenges and the adversity and the setback. So, you know, the chances of you getting to that mill pond without going through the rapids and the bends are virtually zero. And this is why we have to understand that the challenge is where we grow. And then we contribute by giving back. Because whether we like it or not, we are in charge. And I've said that this is becoming one of the key thing again that I'm saying over again. We're not in charge of what happens, we're in charge of how we respond. And how we respond is our responsibility, which also means, if you break the word down, our ability to respond. So the progress of your life will come down to your ability to respond to the challenges that you face. For some people, you will respond to them the wrong way and they will break you. Other people will respond to them a different way and they will break records. But every challenge and every opportunity is, every challenge and every adversity is an opportunity to step up. It's an opportunity to grow. So the next time you're feeling challenged, great, fucking lean into it. What is the world testing me here? How can I come through this? Because true fulfillment will only ever happen through growth. It won't come through begging for significance, begging for love, begging for connection. It comes through challenge. The obstacle is the way. Challenge is the only way that we grow. So the key to moving forward and achieving everything in life, and I'm going to develop this even further tomorrow. It is Wednesday because it's been bank holiday. Yes, so there'll be training today, training tomorrow, training Friday. You know, is to embrace the challenge and stop resisting it. Be grateful for the challenge. I always remember Susie saying that to me. Lee, when you can be grateful for all challenge that's coming your way in advance, that's when you're unfuckwithable. Because you not only are you handling your current challenge, you're saying, give me some more. Give me some more challenge. Give me some more adversity. Give me some more setbacks. Because I know that's where the magic happens. Not, oh, I'm going to stay over here in the corner, looking for certainty, looking for safety, hoping that nothing ever changes. I'm going to live in this house forever. I'm just going to just keep things like this because it's safe. No. Okay? So the questions that I want to lead you with is, start to ask yourself that each morning. I want a little task with each of these videos. How can I help people today? Jan, you've become world class at this. Okay, whether it's the PTSD stuff, the car boot sales, everything. And that's why Jan's checking every week. She's got this list of things that people have given her, from pheasants and game and all this stuff, and all this stuff's coming back to her. But just because she's started to understand and use that process of, when I can just help enough people get what they want, and the world will give me what they want. So these are great questions, and these are new ones that I'm now journaling every morning. Okay, how can I help more people today? Number one, How can I put the needs of other people before my own? That is a powerful question to ask. How can I put the needs of other people before my own today? How many people will ask themselves that question? Not because I am less than you, but because I understand that I will grow through helping you. Because I believe in you. Trust me, your power is directly related to your ability to help and serve other people. When you can't control what's happening around you, but you can control how you respond, that's what will take you to a next level. And when you are on fire contributing, when you are on fire giving, when you are just serving from a heart that is full without expecting anything in return, that wipes all that other stuff out, and you won't need love, connection, significance, certainty or uncertainty, because all the right things and the right people will be magnetized towards you, because your outer world will start to match your inner world and the vibes that you are giving out. And the key to this is to start listening, not talking, to start understanding the problem before looking at the solution, and to start just realizing that my power and my strength is directly related to how much I am willing to give without anything in return. And when I can just truly be my authentic self and do that without any form of expectation, I will magnetize and attract all the right things in my life. The opposite is you keep moaning, blaming, complaining, justifying, focusing on what you don't want, what's not working for you and who's not working for you, and you will magnetize more and more and more of those things, because your outer world will match your inner world. So let's get the inner world sorted. Let's keep asking these great questions. How can I serve other people today? How can I put other people's needs before my own? How can I contribute? How can I give more without any expectation, and watch everything you have wanted truly flow back to you? But you have to do it without expecting anything in return. Guys, have a phenomenal Tuesday. Stay unbreakable. I love you all, and I will see you at 8:15 approximately tomorrow morning.